All right, we're back at it again with another episode, and today's guest is Ariel, someone that I know from our connection, our both connection with Prestige Labs and a handful of coaches in the online space. Ariel, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's the first of the month. It's a brand new week. I'm excited.
I love to hear that. Love to hear that. Well, I kind of want to start with for anyone that doesn't in my audience and True Capacity's audience and 8020's audience, for anybody that doesn't know you, who is Ariel? What does she do? How the hell did she get into a place with a ton of Instagram followers, coaching a ton of women to success?
Oh, you're so sweet. Um, I live in Southern California and I used to own a boot camp. Me and my boyfriend, we opened in 2015. So we were with Fit Body Boot Camp. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with that.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
franchise.
Yeah, it was a franchise. Yeah. But we ended up defranchising like later on. Yeah, so pretty much we owned a boot camp for about 6 years. We defranchised, I want to say before COVID, to Body by You boot camp, which is like in my Instagram bio, Body by You. So yeah, we did defranchised and then we got rid of our location July 2021 because COVID did us dirty and pretty much like we were pretty much barely just making it. It wasn't like we were saving all this cash. So we got a house in April 2021. So I was like, hey, why don't we turn our garage into a gym? Like, does it make sense to pay a mortgage and rent? And in California, they literally do you dirty. Literally, like pretty much we're paying 4 grand for our location. So the math didn't make sense anymore. And so pretty much we got rid of it. We got out of our lease, thank God.
Mhm.
And then at the time we were part of Gym Launch, which I'm sure everyone's familiar with Gym Launch. So Alex was like really big on like just going full online. And
Mhm.
we were like actually like one of his beta testers, like the very, first online coaches or very first coaches to start off with like beta testing. And he would even
Mhm.
tell us like, get rid of your gym, get rid of your gym. And back then it was like, what, like scary, like why would we get rid of our gym? This is like my identity. Like literally would be there all day. After I
Mhm.
would teach, I would work out there, I would like eat there, I had a fridge there, like it
Mhm.
was just like my home. So it was kind of scary, but we took Alex's advice, got rid of it, and then went full online. And then like some of our clients were like, oh, are you never gonna like, what's gonna happen, like where are we gonna work out next? So I kind of felt bad. Carlos didn't want to go, or he didn't want to train in person again.
Mhm.
But I felt bad for my clients. I didn't just want to like abandon them. So I was like, you know what? Let's just turn our garage into a gym. So now we just personal train our homie clients. So we don't like offer in-person training just to like random people who I just sign up because like this is like my
Mhm.
house. You know what I mean? Like I
Mhm.
have my dog here. Like not everyone should be knowing where I live. So homie clients can train with me in person, but pretty much anyone that's new, it just full online.
Damn. Okay. I had no idea. That's even more context. I didn't know you were in gym launch prior.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know?
No, I had no idea. I was like,
What?
how the hell does Ed know you? How do these coaches know you? How does everyone at Prestige know you? Like, how did you get in here? That answers a lot of questions that I had. I'm
Yeah.
like, how do you know all these people?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I was in gym launch. Or me and my boyfriend were in gym launch from, damn, what was it? Like 20, I want to say like 2018 to like 2021.
Okay. And you just left when you went online, you just ended up coming out.
Yeah, like Alex showed us pretty much everything, like
Hmm.
how to run an online coaching business, everything from like
Hmm.
numbers, like, I hated studying the little portals he had, but it did pay off. So,
Hmm.
and the long run, he's one who got us to like where we are today, like with our
Hmm.
online coaching business.
Okay. I mean, did you like pre-COVID, obviously, before COVID just put everyone into the sand? Did you like the in-person side?
I did like it was pretty crazy. Like I would do like sales in person, I would do consultations in person, but then obviously like when COVID happened, like I was pretty much forced to learn phone sales, which I was like terrified of. Like
Hmm.
I don't know why, like I would just get terrified of phone sales. Like I was like, I don't want to call people. And like
Hmm.
before when we used to run ads like in 2019,
Hmm.
I would have to, obviously call people to get them in for their consultation. And I would just say people would like constantly hang up on me, like, who's this? You fill out the form, ma'am. I don't know who this is. I'm like, all right, peace. Well, clearly someone wanted you to get in shape. Like, I was mean on the phone. Like, I gave no F's. So I think I was just so used to like when we used to run ads back in the day.
Hmm.
like people always hanging up on me or like being rude on the phone. So then when COVID happened, I had to like, obviously get good at phone sales because it's like people couldn't come in to sign
Mhm.
up. So during COVID, I got really good at phone sales because I was just like, we're always doing sales. Like I feel like COVID like got me to where I am today. Like it's good and bad. Like I was drinking a lot, like almost every day, like an alcoholic during COVID, but then I was still doing phone sales every day. So it was like it kind of like pushed me back with my drinking, but then it kind of like elevated me to be more comfortable on the phone. And now it's like when I have a phone sale, I'm like, hell yeah, like let's run it. Like I rather do a phone sale than like in person. So
Mhm.
I much more prefer in person or online phone sales.
Yeah. No, that definitely makes sense. And you take phone sales over Zoom sales?
I switch it up. Like I give them the
Mhm.
option. I'm like, hey, I prefer Zoom, but if you, because some people like, I get like, oh, I don't know how to work Zoom, or oh, can we just do a phone sale? I'm like, it's all good. So I let them pick. I know I should push more Zoom sales, like how Ed says, like do more Zoom sales, but
Mhm.
I feel like I'm really good at like reading people too, like even on a phone sale rather than seeing them. Like I'm pretty good at like their tonality, like their
Mhm.
energy, and like if I already know like I don't want to work with him, like I won't push the sale because it's like I'm gonna be with this, checking in with this person for like 12
Yeah.
to 16 weeks. Like I'm good. Like if I don't feel their vibe, I don't push the sale because I'm really big about like energy and like vibes. And it's like if I don't feel like I could picture us working together and like we're gonna bump heads, like it's not worth the money.
Yeah. No, that's definitely fair enough. Speaking of energy and vibes, where the hell do you get all this energy from?
I promise I'm not on drugs every day.
Not just railing Adderall. Like your energy.
Hey, I got my
Hi.
bachelor's degree with Adderall, but no, I don't do Adderall anymore.
Mhm.
If we be
Okay.
real up in her.
Hmm.
No, I just every morning I'm pretty crazy. I do have an espresso machine. So I do like a double
Espresso or Nespresso?
Nespresso.
Oh, the little pods. I love them
Yes.
things.
So I probably do about 4 shots of espresso every morning, but not just like straight. This is why I am the way I am. But I don't like just
You said four Nespresso pods a day? Four?
oh,
Or just in the morning?
I do the double Nespresso pod, so I don't waste no time. I buy the double shot of Nespresso
Oh
pod. So I
my.
do one right when I wake up, but I make like a latte out of it. I do like collagen, and then I do almond milk, and I like do the milk frother. And then like after I'm working for a little bit, I'll do another one.
Wow.
I
That's a
know.
lot. I would say I probably ingest as much caffeine as you do, but I delay about 90 minutes and then I kind of go at like 1 or 2 cups at a time. Probably, and
Oh,
I
got
stop
it.
about four.
Okay.
And my sleep is fine if I stop at four. But if I stop later than that, like if I'm drinking caffeine right now, it's game over. It's
Yeah.
game over. I will stay up. I kind of want to go back to something you said in COVID. It sounded like you got your money up, but then also drinking was kind of a problem and it set you back. In what ways do you think it set you back?
Yeah, like I will admit, like I was drinking like almost every day. Like I would buy
Mhm.
white cases of White Claws. Like me and my other trainer, like she didn't really have family down here at the
Mhm.
time, and so we would hang out every day. We'd go to my gym. Literally, we'd knock out phone sales, and then so we would do a live workout every day with our clients, like just to like keep the motivation. So it was me and my
Like day
trainer.
of, like
Yeah, like Monday
Zoom or
through
something?
yeah, so we would do like a Zoom workout with my clients, and we would do it Monday through Saturday. And I feel like that's the reason why I didn't gain weight during COVID because I literally was like forced to work out every day because I was doing the workout with my
In
clients.
front of everyone too. Like everyone's
Yeah.
staring at you to see what they need to
Mhm.
do. You can't be out here looking sideways.
Looking all sloppy. So yeah, so we do the live workout every day, and then after we would do phone sales, we would work during the day, and then when night hit, we would go get White Claws, come back to my gym, and we would just
Mhm.
like drink and like hang out. So yeah,
Okay.
so it got bad. It was like almost every day drinking, like everyone at the time was like freaking out, not knowing what was
Mhm.
happening. And I feel like I just didn't want to like think about it, so I would drink and just to not think about like, all right, what's going to happen next? Like, am I going to lose my gym?
Mhm.
Like, what's going to happen? Should I get rid of it? So I was just like contemplating what I wanted to do. So it was a scary time in my life, but it ended up working out for the best because
Mhm.
now I love doing online, and I love just like online phone sales, like just everything online is just, way better. And I can make more money and,
Mhm.
be in the comfort of my home, obviously, because I'll be real. Like when I check in my clients, I'm like either in bed, like sitting up in my bed or on the couch, just like
Mhm.
posted. And it's like, clearly I couldn't do this if I still owned a gym.
Mm-hmm. So you would say, all things considered, if you if you could do it over today, you wouldn't own a gym?
I don't know. Yeah, I probably wouldn't own a gym because you have no life. Like, me and my boyfriend, we like rarely travel because we're like, oh, we can't leave the clients. And it's like, oh, like, yeah, we had trainers at the time, but it's like, we couldn't just leave a week and be like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
peace. So we didn't really like travel that much.
Yeah. Figure out programming, figure out onboarding, figure out supplement sales, figure out billing and membership questions. Like, good luck, guys. We'll see you. We'll be in Mexico. That kind of thing
Right.
couldn't happen.
Yeah.
So,
So I
so you
feel
felt,
like,
go ahead.
oh,
You got it.
no, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh wait, yeah. So like we didn't really travel back then. Like we're barely starting to travel now, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
we've had the gym for 6 years, and we didn't really like go anywhere.
Yeah. So something a little taboo that I'd love to unpack here, because I've been told to not do this. Dating someone, going into business, not being married. Right. Talk to me about that. How has that journey been? Is that something that y'all were
Woo!
full, full 100% all steam ahead down for, or is that something that you found yourself in? And kind of talk to me about that, because that doesn't scare me. That seems to scare a lot of people around me about me doing the same kind of thing, though.
Well, don't get me started. Like,
No, let's start. Go.
yeah, me and my boyfriend bump heads all the time. Like,
Okay.
and he's a tourist like me, so we're constantly like at it. And it's like I'm
Break that
surprised.
down for the uninitiated on all of the Capricorn and everything. Break that
Oh, okay,
down.
okay. Okay, so pretty
Just
much like you're not supposed to date your own sign. It's like
okay.
facts. You're not supposed to. That's like the
Okay.
worst compatibility you could ever do. But here we are, 8 years later, still dating each other. And yeah, my number one compatibility is Capricorns and Virgos. I'm not supposed to date another Taurus. Like
Mm,
you're just not supposed to. Well, at least I know for Tauruses, because it's like
mm-hmm.
Capricorns are earth signs as well as Virgos. So I'm supposed to be with a Capricorn or a Virgo, but I got stuck with my own sign. So yeah, it hasn't, we've been through hell and back, like straight up, like gone like weeks without talking. And we live with each other now.
Mm-hmm.
But like back then, I had my own condo and, we worked at the same gym. We owned the gym together. And like, I'd get space. Like if, we got in a fight, I could just go back to
Mm-hmm.
my condo and I had my space. And it's like now, like we live with each other. So it's like, okay, how am I supposed to get space from you? Like if we go at it, like I usually like want to leave, but he's like the type of person where he hates when I ignore him and like he doesn't want space. He like wants to like talk about it and like what's going on. And I'm the type of person where like, okay, I need to like cool down before I say something stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So usually for the most part, I just try to leave or I'll work upstairs and he works downstairs. But it's still like it's hard. Anyone who works with their significant other, like I'm sure they like realize how crazy it is. And like which is like we're good at working with each other though. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's good at his certain things, I'm good at mine. Like for my brand, he does like all the back end stuff, like all the editing my reels, recording me, all like building out my funnels, like all
Mm-hmm.
the technical stuff that's on him.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I'm like the brand, obviously, like the face. I used to be the one doing majority of the sales. Now he's like getting up there with me, but like for
Mm-hmm.
the most part, I was doing most of the sales. He would help me do like the onboarding and he would like train more in person and like help me out with that. So like for example, like if we have a class and like I have a phone sale, like he'll teach for me because it's like we help each other out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Okay.
it hasn't been easy, let me tell you.
Yeah. But how'd you even get there in the first place? Like, how did y'all get together to owning a gym, owning a franchise where you obviously had to sign a personal guarantee for not only the space, but then also the liquidity to jump in? Like, how did y'all even get there to start this journey, owning a gym together, dating?
Okay, so to make a long story short, it was kind of like Alex and Leila. Like, you know how Alex asked Leila to like work for him, even though she like just met
Yeah.
him. Swear to God, that was our situation because we met at 24 Fitness, not
Mm-hmm.
his gym. So he had a business partner and
Mm-hmm.
she was a lot older than him and pretty much she had money. He just, ran it, but he helped him
Mm-hmm.
out like financially. So literally the week we started dating, he got the keys for the location and I was in school at the time. I was bartending, like I had my own thing going on, and I was about to graduate. And pretty much he asked me, like, hey, like, do you want to work with me? Like, I want to buy out my business partner and I want you to like take her place. And so right away I was like, hell no. Cause like, you know that saying you're not supposed to shit where you eat.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, am I allowed to cuss? Sorry.
Yeah, you can say whatever the fuck you want.
Oh, okay,
Period.
sorry.
All good.
Yeah. So yeah, so he's like, "Do you want to work for me?" And I was like, "I'm good. Like I'm about to, get my bachelor's degree. Like
Mhm.
it's all good. Like I don't want to work for you." So pretty much like he literally broke up with me because he said he wanted to be with someone who like had the same vision as me, the same goals. So I was like, "All right, cool. Like you want to break up with me because I don't want to work out or work for you. Like that's fine. Like that's on you." So we broke up for a little bit, but I was still working for him part time. Like I didn't mind working for him part time. Like I was
Mhm.
his appointment setter. I would do his phone sales. So I'd literally like be in class, and then I had to take a phone sale. So I would like jump out of class, freaking do a phone sale in the hall, and then come back in class. So my life was like insane. Like I was
Mhm.
bartending, working for him part time, and then going to school. So when I graduated, that's when he asked me like, "Do you want to work for me or like work with me? I'm gonna buy out my business partner." So I said no. He broke up with me. And then I want to say like a couple weeks later, I was like, all right, F it. I don't even know what I want to do for my career. Like I just got my bachelor's degree. I don't feel like looking for a job right now. So yeah, let's see how this goes. And then I ended up really loving it. And here we are now, 6 years later or 5 years later.
Okay. So y'all
Yeah.
own that location together. Do you end up just obviously you de-affiliated or you dropped their franchise.
Yeah.
I think it's more franchise than it is licensing. So you dropped that and then y'all were able to get out of that lease and get to move a different direction, get out of the
Yeah.
location.
So he bought out his business partner and
Mhm.
then I took her spot. And then pretty much during that time, I think we had our lease was about to end. So we renewed it. Like we were just paying month to month. So
That's
we're
smooth. You were not on a
right.
5 year, 7 year, 10 year,
It was a 5 year.
but
And then
month to
after,
month 5 year. Or
oh, no, no,
after
no, it
the
was, yeah, after the 5 year, it was
oh
month to
my.
month. We just paid.
Nice.
Yeah. But then COVID happened. And
Mhm.
then, so this was around 2019 or
Mhm.
2018. And then COVID happened. And then our lease was already up, but we were still paying month to month and
Mhm.
we still had to pay. We didn't, our like, what's it called? Our landlord didn't care. Like she really didn't care. She didn't
Mhm.
give us any type of like, back then, like how certain businesses, they would like give them 3 months free. I forgot what that was called.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like basically like it was a stay, like where municipalities were cutting breaks, landlords had discretion to waive. I mean, same thing happened on the East Coast. They had discretion to say like, "Hey, we're going to allow this to happen. We'll stop these type of bills. You're still going to have to pay for utilities and power, water, etc. But we
Yeah.
will stop the collection on a lot of things so that you don't have to thrust that onto your tenants."
Yeah, so they did a sturdy. We still had to pay month to month and everything. So that's when we were
Mhm.
like, let's just get rid of it. There's no point. Majority of our clients canceled during that time because it's like it was, COVID, everyone was losing their jobs. So wasn't like it was totally understandable. Like everyone was like going through it. So then that's when Alex was like, hey, do you want to be my beta testers to be full online? So it's like everything worked out for a reason and like the way it was supposed to.
So y'all get out of the gym. And was it pretty messy to get out of that lease?
Not really.
You were
Mm-mm.
just like, hey, we're done. Here's our notice.
Yeah, because we were paying month to month. And so we just told them like, hey, this is our last month. Because they were technically like we are supposed to sign a new lease with them. Like they told us, like, okay, we're gonna work on a new lease, but they lagged it. They lagged it so hard that we were paying, I think, month to month for like a year. So that was their fault because they never like got it together. They're like, all right, we'll either do like a 2 year lease. Like I think it was gonna be a 2 year lease
Mm-hmm.
after our 5 year was up,
Mm-hmm.
and then they just never got back to us. And we are just paying month to month.
Well, I mean, it sounds like it worked in your favor in the long run
Yeah,
that y'all were able to say, hey, we paid way too much month to month, but we're done
exactly.
and
So
we're
we're
out of
like,
here.
all right, this is our last month. And then, of course, super emotional. I was like crying. Like, it was bad. It was like, obviously, like, I had emotional attachment to the gym and like, I didn't want to leave, but I knew
Mm-hmm.
that in order for us to like level up and, not just barely make ends meet. And if we wanted to
Mm-hmm.
start making money and saving money, we had to let it go.
And so, how long was it from that point when y'all made the decision? You got out of the lease, you broke it, you were online. Alex was teaching you all these things with his old portal videos in a suit, in a white, very fitted black suit, white shirt, black suit. I know the exact videos you're talking about. Um, how long was it from the time that you started that to when you started to see success online?
I mean,
Like
honestly,
legitimate material success, not, hey, we're making ends meet.
um, I want to say like probably like half a year later. once we were
Okay.
getting good at it, like getting better,
Mhm.
and like our trainer was helping us, like she was helping us with being our appointment setter. So we were just like, it was just majority like me doing phone sales because COVID like did Carlos really bad too. Like he got really depressed. He like didn't even like care to work out anymore because our gym was closed, 24-hour fitness. And so
Mhm.
I was okay working out in like our boot camp before we got rid of it, but he would like did not want to. He was
Mhm.
just like really, really depressed. So pretty much like I had to be the one to be like, hey, like don't like it's gonna get better. Like don't worry, don't worry. So like me, my trainer, she would help me out, like be my appointment setter. And then I would just have like phone sales stacked up pretty much like Monday through Friday. And then like after that, after working all day, we would just literally get drunk and then I would do it again the next day.
Wow. So a lot
Yeah.
of working and a lot of drinking.
Yep.
Were you able to cold turkey cut that drinking off when everything opened back up?
So I literally, not that I'm an alcoholic, I'm just the type of person where like it wasn't that okay. So after COVID, yeah, like I got my shit together. I
Mhm.
like, was serious about the gym. Once the gym started opening back up, I like had that, excitement to start working out again, like weight training. And so yeah, I like, took a long break from drinking and like I would just save it for like the weekends. And then but I was just like, I'm the type of person, I'm sure other people are like this, where like it's not that I need to drink every day. It's like when I drink, I can't just have one drink. I like want to keep going and going. I'm like, ooh, like I feel good. Like but that's the same thing with like, that's just like my personality. Like we can't buy like dessert in the house, like, cause then we'll eat the whole thing in like one night. I have like, you know what I mean? Like I have no, like I have control, like I have self-discipline, but it's like, for me, it's like out of sight, out of mind. If it's not in my house, I'm good. Like I never have alcohol in my house. I like, never have like junk in my house. Not saying like, oh, I never eat sweets, like, macro friendly sweets, or I'll make my own desserts, like with
Mhm.
the Prestige protein powder. Like I do a lot of like protein ice cream, like protein muffins. But like if I were to buy like a tub of Ben and Jerry's, me and Carlos would probably finish that like in a night because it's like we just have no self-control when it comes to like desserts and like alcohol. So
Mhm.
um that's why like I just rather like I'm like there's no in between with me. I'm either like all in with something or I'm like all out. So like if right now I like cut out alcohol, like I'm not drinking
Mhm.
right now, like I don't need it. I'm like really laser focused right now with my business. And it's like I can't just be like the type of person where like, oh, I can have a glass of wine at dinner and like I'll be okay. And I'm like, no, like I'll end up getting like a bottle. So it's like I just rather just cut it out cold turkey and just I know like that's what works best for me.
Yeah. Would you say that you're like that in everything in your life? Like hot or cold, binary, ones and zeros?
I wouldn't say my personality because it's not like, oh, I go 0 to 100 real quick. Like it takes me a lot to get mad. I'm like, nothing really gets me like super upset. Like I'm kind of like go with the flow. Like I'm genuinely like a really positive person. I see like the best in people. I like see like, like that, like, I'm more positive. So I don't feel like my personality is like that. But like when it comes to like, business, like, yeah, I'm like all in. Or like when I competed 2 years ago, with my competition, like I was all in with that. I was like, I'm literally going to follow everything to a T because it's like if I'm going to do something, like I'm going to do it like 100.
Yeah. No, I think that makes sense. Yeah, I'm more speaking not about emotions or about character traits necessarily, like anger or your ability to be your trustworthiness or anything like that. I'm more speaking of when you take actions on business, on personal stuff, on relational stuff. It seems like you're either like whole ass in or whole ass out. Like either we're gonna go for gold or we ain't doing this damn thing.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm like that.
That's kind of how you live in just about everywhere.
Pretty much. I'm like, if I have my heart set on something and I'm like determined, like I just go all in. It's like, I don't care. I'm not like, oh, what if it doesn't work out? Or like, what if, if we get rid of our gym, like, what if like, it doesn't end up working out? I was just like, all right, let's just do this. Like, let's just go all in with online coaching, just be laser focused and not think about like, oh well, what if, because it's like if you do that
Mhm.
then it's like then you are gonna like start having negative thoughts in your head. And like I don't like, I'm kind of an overthinker and I'm kind of not like I can knock out right away. And I know like a lot of my clients are like, oh, I'm like tossing and turning and like thinking about
Mhm.
all these things. So I don't really think I'm that much of an overthinker because like when I go to bed, like I knock out within like 5 minutes. So it's not really like I have like all these I'm like my head's racing. That's more Carlos. He's the one who he's like overthinking. Whenever I talk to him, I can just tell he's like thinking about something else. I'm like, really? I'm all, I don't know if all guys are like that, but for him, for the most part, like I'll be asking him, like I'll be telling him something, but I know he's thinking about something else because his mind's always like go, 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 like racing.
Have you all ever done the attachment style quizzes?
Mm-mm.
Sounds
No.
anxious.
Huh?
Sounds like an anxious attachment style. There's a heck of a book called Attach. I don't know who the author is, and I don't want to misquote it, but it is a hell of a book to look at. It talks
Mhm.
about different attachment styles and how we kind of ebb and flow in this world, and our kind of our modus operandi around stress, anxiety, excitement, joy, etc. And it's fascinating. I would definitely recommend it. That would be
Yeah.
something that I would be interested to know about you and Carlos. I would say that y'all are probably different attachment styles, right? If
Yeah.
you're able to knock out and he's not, right?
Yeah.
His brain's going, going, going. You said something interesting to me though just a second ago, and that's that when your heart's set on something, you go after it. What is Ariel's heart set on right now?
Right now, I just like right now I'm like in this mindset where like I don't want to be like average. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with being average.
What does
Like
average mean?
average meaning like the paycheck to paycheck. You go out every weekend with your friends and
Mm-hmm.
drink. You know what I mean? Like I know like my potential and I know that like I don't want to be average. I want like and success doesn't have to be like money. Like it's not even like, oh, I want to be rich. It's like I just want to like have freedom, like financial freedom, where like I can go and travel wherever I want. And like I don't have to stress out about like, oh, like do I have enough money to go like fly somewhere? And like, you know what I mean? Like I just feel like I want more like financial freedom where I don't have to think twice about like, all right, next month I'm gonna go here. Like, my bucket list, I want to go to Europe. I've never been to Europe before. That's like on my bucket list and it's like sad. I've only been to Mexico. Like it's kind of sad. And
Yeah.
Hawaii doesn't count because it's part of the United States. So
Although a ton of people get off that flight and they have their passport in hand, like they're going into another country, which
right.
is fascinating. Would you say that freedom that you're looking for, you have currently?
Not yet, just because we still have like in-person clients and eventually we're gonna like not train in person. I don't know when. It's just I just feel bad. Like I don't just want to throw my clients to the side who like train with me in person and be like, hey, like by the way, like 2024, we're not training in person anymore. Like I feel like I'm not there yet, but we're definitely like working our way up to that.
But is you making a decision that long term sets you up to help more people to be able to serve at a higher level? Is that really throwing your clients aside? I mean, is it perhaps just a way that you maybe need to sell online versus in person to these people month over a month until they get it to a place where you're like, hey, if you want continued success, if you want continued results, if you want to continue to progress, like we won't be here in person.
Yeah.
I mean, is that maybe just a deficit on your end, or is it truly that they'll be helpless without you?
I'm sure that they'll be fine without me, but no, you're right though. I feel like the time that like I take to train in person, I could be helping out so many more people online and like growing my business more. So I know in the long run it's going to be like beneficial for like me and my clients, even though they might not know it yet. Cause it's like
Mhm.
I feel like maybe like if I'm like too there, or like, if I don't hear from them, I'm like, hey, like where have you been? I haven't heard from you. And like my new business coach is like, you're not a freaking babysitter. Like if they're not checking in with you, you should not be reaching out to them. And it's like, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I do reach out to my clients a lot. I'm just like, hey girl, like when they check in with me, I'm like, hey, haven't heard from you. Like, are you okay? Like, don't forget to send me your macros. And like my new business coach is like, you're not their goddamn babysitter. Like, why the F are you reaching out to people? Like, you're not a babysitter. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's true. Like, I didn't think of it like that, but it's like I'm kind of like changing my whole like way that I'm coaching too.
Yeah. And I guess from a coaching standpoint, I'd love your thoughts on this. Do you think that you are able to serve people at a higher level, remote or online, whatever kind of verbiage you want there, or in person?
Definitely online
Why?
because I feel like I can like impact more people, and I feel like in person, like me and my clients mess around a lot. Like
Mm-hmm.
we like
Same.
joke. Yeah, we're fucking around the whole
Dancing, taking
time.
videos, talking shit.
Yes. So I feel like honestly, I'm just hanging out with my friends. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm being straight up. Like we mess around. And like I love it. Like I built like a community where like, and they're not even like my age or like older moms, like in
Mm-hmm.
their 40s and 50s. But like I love them. And like we always like joke around and like mess around. And I feel like obviously, like if I was like full online, I wouldn't be messing around with my clients. I'd be, taking it more seriously. So yeah, I feel like if I was just like full remote, I would make a bigger impact and not be like messing around the whole time and like, which is good. Like, I mean, I love what I do and it's like
Mhm.
awesome that I feel like I'm hanging out with friends when I train them. But it's like, I feel like if I were more online, I'd have more time to like, sign up more people and DM more people and do more, phone sales and consultations.
Yeah. And you said that you feel like you could help more people. Your impact would be bigger by helping more people. Is the goal to help more people at a shallower depth or fewer people at a bigger depth?
Oh, that's deep. I guess, I mean, I guess it's like I rather have like quality clients who are going to give this their all instead of just like signing up a lot of people and it's like they're not really taking it seriously. So I get like that saying like quality over quantity. Like I 100% agree with that. But I feel like now, like obviously, I'm gonna start charging more, like the more busier I get. So it's kind of like I'm weeding out like the people that are like serious because it's like the people that are serious don't have the question twice when I tell them how much my program is. And the people that are like, all right, well, let me talk to my husband about it, or I gotta think about it. It's like clearly like you don't want this. I already know if you have to talk to your husband or if you have to like check your bank account. Like we all know how much money we have in our bank account. We know what credit cards we have. We know why do you need to talk to your husband? It's like if he doesn't support you, then like why wouldn't he not want you to be healthy? Like it doesn't make sense. So I feel like when I do charge more, it's like I am leaving out like the people who aren't really serious and aren't ready to invest in their health.
Yeah. And I don't think there's any necessarily right or wrong answer with is it fewer people at deeper depth or more people at more shallow and getting them, it's kind of like taking people that are broke business owners to their first 10K, right? Or individuals that are in the 10 to 20, a smaller amount of those people up to 200, 300, 400, 500K, right? Like that's definitely a different business, right?
Yeah.
One is way more higher touch accountability, and the other one is more probably course based, right? Module based and way less one-on-one and more group meetings, more group accountability and what have you there. Not to say that anyone shouldn't be in either of them, but it is definitely a different model.
Yeah.
Truly. Do you think that you lean more towards the taking the people from, hey, I have some success, but I really want to go crazy? Or are you helping more of the people that are like, I've tried a lot of things and I'm just trying to get sustainable results?
I think majority of that they've tried a lot of things like keto.
Mm-hmm.
I've even signed up clients who've gotten tummy tucks, they do the Kybella, they get those shots, like you
Mm-hmm.
name it. And it's like obviously like it doesn't work. Instant gratification never works. You have to literally put in the work. You can't be lazy. Like I'm sorry, there's no way around it. So I feel like I do get majority of women who have done X, Y, and Z. They've done everything and they're just like desperate and they watch on the sidelines, they watch my stories. I do the most. I always post like my clients transformations, their wins. And I feel like they're always like waiting on the sidelines until eventually it's like they get to that point where like, okay, enough is enough. Like and that's when they do reach out to me on Instagram, like, hey, like I want to sign up for your program. And majority of the women have tried like everything, like personal trainers, diets, surgeries. So there's nothing you can't like, there's no way around like having healthy eating habits. It's just the truth.
Yeah. How do you come up with that niche? How do you come to a place where you're working with busy women, right? And pinging in on ditching diets and helping them gain confidence. Like, how did you land on that?
I have like my target audience, like how
Mm-hmm.
did I get like, I guess like attracting like your perfect client, like someone who I really love.
What? Hold on. What does attracting your perfect client mean? Hold on. I know someone else that hates that phrase. And you
Yeah.
both know him very well. Um,
Yeah.
unpack that. Attracting. Oh my goodness. Go on.
Okay, so let me push it back. Hold on. Okay, so I did read a book.
Mm-hmm.
Um, why did I forget the author? Oh, what is his name? He invented like click funnels.
Oh, Russell Brunson.
Yes, I read his book and he had a
Which one?
chapter.
Expert
I,
secrets, .com secrets, traffic secrets,
it was the one about your social media, like how to like, I think it was
traffic secrets, traffic or
probably.
expert. Yeah.
Yeah, so he had a chapter in there where it's like, hey, like think of like your perfect client. So that's where I got that from. And I felt like that worked for me. Like, I'm okay. At the time, this was probably like 3 or 4 years ago. I was like, okay, who do I love and who do I want more of? So
Mhm.
at the time, one of my clients named Donna, still remember her to this day.
Shout out
She
Donna.
way to go, Donna. And she still has a weight off. Oh, so she was like the perfect client. Like literally checked in without me having to ask. Never questioned me. Was always like on top of it. Was the sweetest ever. Like extra credit points would always shout me out on social media. So I'm like, okay, what do I got to do to like get another client like her? Like, what am I
Mhm.
doing that like to get that perfect client? And what made me realize is like I mentioned earlier, like whenever I do have like a phone sale, like if I don't feel their vibe and like I don't feel like I can work with them, I just don't push the sale. I'm like, all right, well, if they're like, all right, anything about it, I'm like, okay, cool. I don't reach out back to them. So it's like I go more off of like their energy and like their
Mhm.
vibes. It's like if it's similar to that client Donna, then I'm like, let's run it. But not to say like, oh, all my clients are like my client Donna, but it's like I just know the type of, female I want to work with. And it's like not to be mean, but if they sound like stuck up or like they don't really ask me questions, like I don't want to work with you. Or if like you're questioning me, like obviously you reached out to me, like I'm the professional and you're gonna like question me, like I don't need to work with you.
Mhm.
Not worth
So
it's not worth the money, my mental state.
yeah. So I mean, the typical person that you working with, are they in their 20s and their 30s and their 40s? Like, give me a like nail this down a little bit for me because I know what you show on your Instagram, right? And I have no idea what age any of these people are. I do see the solid transformations, right, from top to bottom, before and after pictures. But I mean, what kind of age demos are we talking here?
I would say anywhere from like 40 to 50 is like the age demographic. And not really, yeah, like 40 to 50. Not saying I don't have any clients that are in their 30s. Like I
Yeah.
rarely some in their 20s,
Mhm.
a little bit in their 30s, but majority like 40 to 50.
Okay, 40s to 50s. And what do you think? What do you think they like most about you being their coach? Like what do you think you bring to them outside of obviously? I mean, anyone can teach anyone how to count macros, and if
Yes.
it fits in your macros, intermittent fasting, et cetera, et cetera. Like anyone can teach the technical aspects, but what do you think that they come to you, Ariel, for, as opposed to going to James or going to Sandra or going to Sally or going to Sandy or going to anybody else?
I think that because I keep it real and I'm just like very extra. Like, if people don't know by now, like, I'm really extra like this 24/7, probably because I drink 4 shots of espresso every day, but I'm just really
Might have
out
something to do with it.
there. And I'm just real. I'm like real with them. Like, I'm honest. I call them out on their BS. Like, if I know they have a treadmill at home and they're not hitting their step goal, I'm like, Carol, like, what's going on? Like, why haven't you hit
Mhm.
your steps? Like, I know you have a treadmill at home. Like, what's going on? And it's like, I do call them out, but like in a nice way. And I think I'm just like really like transparent and I share my whole life on social media. Like I think like they can relate to me because it's like, yeah, I'm taking a break from drinking right now, but like back then, like I would party, like I would drink on the weekends. I would eat, what I wanted, obviously in moderation. So I think like women could relate to me because it's like, hey, like, Ariel, she's having like a glass of wine with dinner. Like she could still look good. Why can't I? And it's like, I teach them like, how to make this a lifestyle change because it's like you can't just like go cold turkey and like not drink anymore,
Mhm.
not get fast food in and out every once in a while. Like you can in moderation and you can still see results. One glass of wine a week isn't going to kill you and like not be able to reach you to
Mhm.
your goals. And so I think I teach them how like you can still have a lifestyle, you can still go out and party, you can still get in and out every once in a while and like still hit your goals.
Do you think that the quality of life and the lifestyle balance with not having to sell their soul in the gyms is what these women that are between 40 and 50 struggle with most?
Yeah, because I teach them like my coaching style is like habits over workouts all day. And some of my clients,
Meaning,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
meaning.
Meaning, like, I rather them focus on like their macros, their steps, their
Mhm.
water, their sleep, rather than going to the gym 5 days a week. Because I'm like,
Mm.
okay, if you have time to either meal prep or go to the gym, I always tell them I rather you meal prep. If you have time to get more sleep over a workout, I rather you get more sleep. That's just like what I believe for women, especially. Like we do need, we're different than men. We have different hormones. You guys are okay 4 or 5 hours of sleep like crazy. It's like us
Mhm.
women, no, we need our full 8 to 9 hours of sleep for us to perform better and, see results because we do have different hormones than men. So those men who like wake up at 4 a.m. every morning, I'm like, power to you. I'm asleep until 6. I need my full 8 hours.
Yeah. How many of those men are also juicing though? How many of those men are also taking androgynous other things to make sure that they can perform?
True, true. I didn't think about that. Wow.
Because Jocko Willink, who doesn't take steroids, goes to bed at 9 p.m. to wake up at 4 a.m. Most people that I see at the gym at 5 a.m. have gone to bed at 1 a.m. There is no chance in hell that I'm going to believe that you stay at 7 or 8% body fat or 9 or 10 or 11% body fat. You can back squat over 400 pounds. You can bench over 300 pounds and you get 3 hours of sleep a night.
Yeah, that's
I
wild.
don't buy it. I don't buy it that you're natty. I don't buy it at all.
Hail to the no. Are you kidding me? Mm-mm. Yeah, there's no way. I
Those
would.
numbers and that body fat percentage and the composition that some people walk around with is ridiculous to be natty. And I don't even think there's necessarily anything wrong with being not natty unless you're going to sell programs off of not being natty while claiming that you are.
Exactly. Exactly. That like boils. Don't even get me started on that. That like boils my blood. Or like coaches who or girls on Instagram that get BBLs and like, oh, try this workout out with a resistance band. Like, bitch,
Yeah,
you
your
did
butt
not
did not.
get that ass.
That's
Your
what I'm
resistance band
saying. That ass did not look like Saturn with a booty band.
workouts.
You hip thrusting 400 pounds. You ain't doing no booty bands. Don't play with me.
I know, it's so sad. Have you ever heard of I think his name's Goops on Instagram where he calls out, he'll literally go on people's Instagrams. Um, and he's like pro, like he'll know if you photoshopped your pictures. So pretty much like if he goes on
Mm.
someone's profile, he'll go to their picture and he gives them a chance. So he DMs them being like, hey, like, did you Photoshop this picture? And majority of the time they're like, no, like they deny it. And then he like shows them proof. He's like, yo, like, I'm gonna give you another chance to fess up. If you don't tell me if you don't admit that you photoshopped, I'm gonna put you on blast. I mean, it's kind of like fucked up that he does that, but it's hilarious. And then majority of the time, they block him, and then he exposes them. I'll send you his Instagram. It's like hilarious. He exposes all these fitness influencers who have programs
Mhm.
who Photoshop their shit.
Yeah, and I think that brings up. I mean, I'm not always on the let's blast everyone unless your name's Food Babe. I'm happy to blast you all day, every day. And that's not a sex joke, guys. For anyone that's listening, Food Babe can suck it. Um,
Wait, Food Babe, the I've heard of her, the one who's
the
like,
account, the account that is anti all artificial sweeteners, that is anti anything that comes processed, that doesn't have her name on it, that's anti anything that wasn't pulled up on a farm, right? That she can
yeah,
write an article about. She
yeah.
constantly takes products from outside the US and the US and puts them side by side. And mind you, these are dessert products. These are candies and chocolates and alcohol and soda. And so she's doing a side by side comparison of soda, which arguably I think we could look each other in the face and say 65 grams of sugar and a drink that's 16 ounces might not be the best choice for you in the first place if you're trying to lose weight or if you're trying to maintain a specific physique. Having
Yeah.
those day in, day out, it's like drinking heavily, very hard to outtrain or outdo. But what she does is she just does side by sides and screams at the top of her lungs about seed oils, about high fructose corn syrup, about dyes, about all kinds of things that arguably, if you look at what she's even referencing, it might just be better to stay away from those things anyways, not take the UK version of M&Ms. Are we serious?
I know, I've seen her posts. She like bashes like everything.
Everyone.
Oh, well, let me have some fun. I drink Diet Coke. Yeah, it has chemicals, but YOLO, like literally anything can give you cancer. Like, I'm sorry. It's like everything in moderation. So yeah, I
Including
drink Celsius.
moderation itself.
Yeah, I drink Celsius.
Yeah. I don't see a thing wrong with it. I was actually on another podcast talking to a gym owner of a CrossFit gym down in a suburb just south of Atlanta. We're talking about Diet Coke and Coke Zero, right? Like I'd much prefer you to do that than to drink regular soda.
Yeah.
I'd much prefer if someone's going to do that to do that. I mean, that's where I go if I do it. right?
Right.
Like I'm going to do my very best to not drink Coca-Cola and
Yeah.
Dr. Pepper regular, because that's a hell of a lot of sugar that I don't want, you know? There's
Yeah.
definitely levels to it. I think that us hyper fixating on things that for anyone that doesn't have a ton of money, doesn't even have the luxury of focusing on. How are you to get to a place where you're avoiding every single dye, every single paraben, every single chemical, every single everything, unless you have a ton of money and you can source your stuff from boutique butcher shops and boutique farmers markets?
Yeah. I know it's insane. It's like not even food, makeup, like cleaning supplies, your clothes. It's like she's just yeah, she does the most. I agree.
100%
Yeah.
definitely does.
Yeah.
Let's dive in a little bit to your fitness journey. There's a few before and afters that I've seen you share of
Uh-huh.
yourself, right? There's some pictures that definitely then look much different than now. Can you tell me a little bit about your journey?
Yes. So pretty much out of high school, I moved in with my sister. So I like had all this freedom and I would go out. Literally, I was crazy. Like I would go out every weekend. I would smoke weed, nothing against weed, okay? Like everything in moderation. Like I just always had whenever I'd smoke weed every single day. And I remember like after I worked, I'd come home, my best friend would come over, we'd smoke in the garage. And then what we would do, we would go to Jack in the Box. I'd get an Oreo cookie shake, tacos, and jalapeno poppers. That was my order. And then we'd come back to my sister's house. We would watch Netflix. It was like back then when what was that show called? Oh, the zombie show.
Walking Dead.
Yes, it's when that came out. So that's what we would do. We'd watch
Mhm.
Walking Dead all high, eating our Jack in the Box. That's what I love to do. And I didn't realize like eventually like that was going to catch up to me. And mind you, at the time, like I was going to the gym at this time, but I was just doing cardio. I would do legs, but I was just always scared to go like to the free section of the gym. Like never worked out my upper body. I had like the freaking biggest nasty shoulders. And so pretty much like I was drinking every weekend, like partying, going to raves, like drinking, doing bad things. And then I thought, like, all right, Monday through Thursday, I'm just gonna eat good, I'll be fine. And then it's like it was always like this cycle. Like I would eat clean Monday through Thursday. And then like when the weekend came, that's when I would smoke, eat. So pretty much like it caught up to me. And I wasn't really like overweight when I was younger. I didn't start gaining weight until I graduated high school and I was like in college because it's like the college 15, like I think I did like the college 30. Like I got really thick, thicker than a Snicker. And my sister at the time, like my nieces lived with us. So, or I lived with
Mhm.
my nieces. So snacks galore in the pantry, like literally all little kid snacks. So of course, when you're high, you literally eat anything. So I would just like tear up the pantry. So yeah, so pretty much that rolled like I gained like 30 pounds and I was only doing the Stairmaster at the gym, would always do legs, but I wasn't like consistent.
Mhm.
So I didn't realize, like, hey, like for me to see results, I probably should stop eating like shit, smoking weed, drinking every damn weekend, all weekend. It wasn't just like, oh, it's just Saturday night. Like, no, I would drink like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it just got to the point where I was just like over feeling like shit. Like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? And not even just like, oh, like eating, like the way that I like presented myself. Like, I had Tinder back then at the time. And like, I don't know if you ever had a Tinder, but guys on there just wanted one thing. And like, I just felt like, you know what I mean? Like I would go on dates with guys and I just didn't feel good about myself. And like, I would just eventually I stopped dating and I just, was insecure, like how I looked and how I felt. And so I was like, you know what? I need to get my shit together because I don't like how I look. I don't like how I feel. I don't even want to
Mhm.
go on dates with guys anymore because I don't feel like good about myself. So pretty much I had like a midlife crisis at like 25 where I was like, all right, I need to stop drinking. I need to stop going to raves and I'm just gonna focus on myself. And I literally just like stopped partying. I gave up weed cold turkey. And I preferred weed back then over alcohol. And I literally gave it up cold turkey. I was like, I can't be doing this anymore. And it's crazy. I've been weed free since, well, I'm not gonna lie. I've hit like a weed pen here and there. So not that I'm completely weed free, but I'm not like smoking out of a bong in my garage every night, pretty much. So yeah, 20, I forgot what year it was, but when I turned 25, I cut out clear turkey for like a while. And like now it's like I'll hit like a weed pen here and there, but I won't like smoke a bowl or like a joint because now I get like paranoid because I haven't done it in so long that it's like now I get paranoid. As back then, I didn't really get paranoid. I had like more of like the munchies. So yeah, so that's pretty much how my journey started. I just cut everything out cold turkey. Like I stopped weed, I stopped drinking, I stopped going to raves, and I just like started getting serious in the gym. And then that's when I just got addicted to it. And then I wanted to learn how to like weight train more. So I hired a coach and yeah, now we're here.
Wow. It sounds like that 30 pounds that you gained really kind of turned you into a different person there for a bit. And
Mm-hmm.
then you had to almost get yourself back out of the hole.
Yeah. Yeah, it was bad. I like didn't like who I was. Like I was at college. I was in college at the time. I didn't know what I wanted to major in. This is like when I was at a junior college. I had no
Mhm.
idea what I want to major in. I was like, I literally don't know. I didn't even want to go to college. Like my parents pretty much told my sister, if she doesn't go to school, kick her ass out. So I literally had to like be like forced to go to college, literally. So yeah, I like would wake up not knowing what I wanted to do with my life. I had like no purpose back then. That's why I would get fucked up every weekend, go to raves. Like it was bad. Like I even did like drugs if I'm being transparent. Like I would like take two ecstasy pills at one time. Like I gave no fucks back then.
Goodness.
I know. I was
Do you think
wild. I
that
was wild.
do you think that the lack of purpose has to do with the weight or the weight has to do with the lack of purpose?
I feel like no, the lack of purpose came from like I wasn't happy like with what I was doing with my life. Like I feel like I was forced to go to college. I didn't know what I wanted to do for a living. I felt like I was just like lost and like the type of people I was hanging out with weren't the best type of people. They're the ones who like got me into doing ecstasy. They're the ones who, would always smoke weed and wanting to drink every night. So I just felt like I needed to change like the people I was hanging out with as well.
And nowadays, have you rid yourself of all those kind of people in your life? Do you have a solid support system, or do you do what some people do in long term relationships and just hang out with just your boyfriend?
Yes and no. So I only have like two friends. So yeah, I've cut out. It's really sad. Like one of my best friends, we stopped being best friends during COVID because she just didn't understand. Like she was very like needy. Like she would get mad at me for like not calling her back or not texting her. And I'd be like, hey, you know what? Like I'm going through a lot right now. Like I don't
Mhm.
know if I'm gonna get rid of my gym. It's just like a really hard time. So she would take it personal that I didn't want to hang out all the time. Like
Mhm.
so I had to cut her out. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like every time you call me, you're like a battery drainer. Like you're just like negative and just like always complaining. And it's just like, I love her and I still love her. And it's just sad that we're not friends anymore because we were literally best friends since freshman year. And I just had to get rid of like a lot of people. Like this other girl that I used to go to raves with, like I stopped being her friend too. Cause it's like what we had in common is we like to party together. So I
Yeah.
wanted friends who like I could hang out with and not be all like messed up or like drunk.
Mhm.
So I have two friends. So one since kindergarten, and she's like my ride or die because she never once judged me. Like, she knew that was just like a phase of my life that I went through. And she never once wasn't my friend because I went to raves, or she never once was my friend because I was smoking weed all the time. Like, she never judged me. So I love her and we're still best friends. And then I had my other best friend who I met with when I used to work at Olive Garden, and he's sober. He's been sober for like 5 years. So I feel like, I'm glad that I have someone who like, we hang out, we don't have to drink together. We don't have to do anything. He's like sober. He doesn't drink, he doesn't do drugs. So I'm glad that I have that friendship with him. And then my best friend, she likes to drink, but I call her like a normie. I'm like, you can go out to dinner, have a drink, and you're good. I was like, you're a normie. Like, I can't do that. Like, cause it's like it'll lead to like end up wanting to get a bottle.
Yeah. And I mean that statement that you just made that she's a normie and you're not a normie. How much do you think of that is fact, and how much do you think that that's just maybe a deep ingrained belief that you have about yourself?
I don't know, because like I know addiction runs in my family, and my grandpa was an alcoholic, and he literally drove off a cliff because he was so drunk and died. My mom was pregnant with me at the time, so I like never met him. And like, I do have family members who've been in and out of rehab that are really close to me. So not that like, oh, it's just like what I have engraved in me that like, okay, my family's all fucked up, so I'm fucked up. So I feel like I know that addiction runs in my family. I know that's not an excuse, but I just feel like I know that like it's harder for me than like my best friend to just like have one drink and be okay. I know for me, it's like I just get excited and I just want another one. And it's like, so I just can't, I just rather not do it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. How how have you found yourself in a place where you skirted death though, and you skirted that time in your life where you got out of the other side? Sounds like a lot of your family maybe hasn't had the same privilege of being able to make it through, and maybe they're still here, but they've had much more problems from the alcohol long term. But you were able to get out of it. I mean, what do you attribute that to?
I know it's wild. I'm the golden child. I tell my parents. Um, I don't know. I feel like like what we've been through too. Like my brother, and my sister, like we didn't have like a good childhood, and I feel like it affected them more than me, just because I was the youngest, and I feel like they were older, they saw more. So I think that's probably another reason why like I was able to like break out of that. Um, but I feel like having mentors, like having people that believe in me, having coaches who are like, hey, you just, like my coach is like, you just need to get rid of your vices. Like you can't do them. You're going to be a hypocrite. And it's so true. And it's like I can't preach on Instagram like, oh, like positivity and all this and that if I'm drinking every weekend. Like that's being a hypocrite. So it's like if I really like want to be about, changing women's lives and showing them like, hey, you don't need to drink with your friends, have a good time. Like you don't need to drink with your husband or your boyfriend. Like if that's the only reason why you're together is because you only relate when it comes to drinking, then it's like you need to like find something else. Like you can still be happy and not have to get wasted every weekend. Or there's other things, there's more to life than just drinking.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, I at one point in my life also was in a position where I was managing a bar. I was bartending
Oh
five,
wow.
6 nights a week, and so I did that for years when I was in college.
Oh, that's
And then I stayed a
cool.
year after college and did that. And then even when I moved to Atlanta in 20, I was still bartending on the weekends, like just Friday, Saturday, but I was still back in the thick of it, right? Drinking, going to after hours, right? Pulling up on house parties after the bars had closed with everyone else that's in industry. And you know what goes on at those places. Like there's,
Oh,
you
those are
know,
rough.
yeah, and they can be fun in the moment, and they can be like, oh man, it feels like I'm escaping, I'm having a grand time, but you feel it for 4 or 5 days. And you feel
Exactly.
it for 4 or 5 days if you didn't do anything stupid enough to stay in a different state for a few more days. You know what I mean? Like the guilt that can come across you for doing things that are kind of out of character, that lean into the deficit of character that you might be playing in. And I think it's admirable that you've abstained and you've jumped away from the alcohol. I think that for individuals that have had trouble with it or can look and logically say that, oh my God, my family has had trouble with this, probably not the best idea in the world. You're flirting with death there for sure.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And it's like what comes good out of alcohol? Like nothing, literally absolutely nothing. Like it doesn't like make your life better. It makes your life worse. It's like
Yeah.
nothing really good comes out of it. Even if you do have a glass of wine. If
Mhm.
I were to just have a glass of wine, I know I'd feel sluggish the next day. I know that I wouldn't want to work out. And it's just like not worth it.
Yeah, I'm curious though. As a coach, I sometimes struggle with having hardline stances on things for myself and not letting that bleed into a little bit of judgment for clients. Like, how do you draw that line in the sand for you?
What do you mean? Like, because I don't drink, like, do
Yeah,
I?
yeah, because I feel like it's, and I'm just speaking from my own experience. It could be difficult for me in some scenarios where I'm like, I would never do that, right? And so it's sometimes hard for me to empathize when someone's like, I'm really struggling where I want to do this.
Yeah.
I'm okay with a little poop being in my food, and I'm like, how about none? How about zero? And with alcohol for me, it's not the same type of thing. But being in the scene, 100%, it was the exact same thing where I was all consumed by it. So, how do you balance showing up and being empathetic and showing up for women that in their 40s and 50s maybe have some other life things going on and maybe they want to drink? Like, how do you show up and balance your insistence on not drinking alcohol yourself with trying to still encourage and inspire these women that may drink more than you do?
Okay, well, I want to put this out there. Like, I'm not perfect. Like, I go through phases where like I cut out alcohol completely, and then I will be like drinking like once a day during the weekend. So it's not that I'm never gonna drink again. Like, because I'm gonna be real, my best friend's wedding's in June, And I already know it's all inclusive. I already know that like I'm probably gonna have a couple of drinks. I am giving a toast, so I'm sure I'm gonna be nervous. So I'm probably gonna like, have a couple of drinks before that. So I'm not saying like, oh, I'm never gonna drink again. This is how I am. Like I'll be super focused. I'll give up alcohol for a while and I'm like super, super in it. And then, my best friend wants to hang out or like, a special event comes up and then like, yeah, I'll probably drink a little bit, but then I go back to not drinking again. So it's not that like I'm never going to drink because it's like, this is just how I am. Like, I'm like super laser focused. For example, I went to Cabo for my best friend's bachelorette weekend. I drank when I was out there. I did not drink. And I was like, hey, like, I'm going to be honest with myself. Like, I'm in Cabo for my best friend's bachelorette weekend. Like, of course, I'm going to drink while I'm out there. Like, I still worked when I was out there. Like, it wasn't like I was like belligerent drunk every night. Like, I knew my limit. So I always tell my clients, I'm like, hey, like when we first start off, I just tell them like, try not to drink for the first 2 weeks. Like, if you want to see really good results. But if they're like, hey, Ariel, I have this coming up. I have this coming up. And I'm like, I always tell them, like, okay, let's pick and choose when you're going to drink. Like, I only want it to be special occasions. Like, if it's someone's wedding or it's your birthday or something like that, then yeah, then I'll have them pick. Like, pretty much I tell them, try not to drink more than like 2 times a month. Like, if you want to drink every other weekend, that's fine. But try not to drink every single weekend and like try not to drink during the week. There's like no point of drinking during the week. So I just break that down with them. Like I let them pick like what occasions they want to drink for. And then I like make sure they like stick to their word and they actually just drink on like those 2 occasions.
Yeah. No, I think that actionable bite-sized pieces for people is a solid thing. I know we're running up close on time here. I have a few other things that I'm very curious about. We may just have to do this again for a second time because we're
Run it back. Let's run it back.
we're just scratching the surface here. But I guess I'm curious. You've mentioned mentors. You've mentioned positive influences in your life. Who would you say is the individual that has impacted your coaching journey the most?
That's hard. Because I feel like Alex and Leila like literally got me to where I am, and they've taught me literally everything I know. So I'm forever grateful for them. But then my new coach, Wes Watson, he literally just like,
That's who you get coached by?
yeah,
Man's an animal.
I
Man's
know.
a straight up animal.
Insane. And I was literally so scared of him. And now I'm like, he's literally, I called him a turtle. I was like, bro, you're literally like a turtle. Like you're hard on the outside, but deep inside, you're like soft. And like, yeah, like he just totally changed the way that I coach. Like he's more about like, hey, like you're a brand, like you're a brand, and like you need to focus more on like, don't like, for example, he like pretty much like wrote out a blueprint of like what I'm supposed to post every single day at what time, what I'm supposed to post on my actual page. And like he pretty much like dissected my Instagram, and he was just like, you're literally like every other coach. I'll pay you $10 a month for macros and diet. And it's like, he's just really straight up. He's like, why are people going to sign up with you for like every other coach? He's like, you need to be more about mindset. Like, don't write about your workout and explain it. Tell them how you feel. Like, what is this workout making you feel? So he just totally changed the way that I coach. And like, now I'm more about like mindset and like how I feel in my posts. I'm very transparent with my posts. Like, I feel like he maybe be more like transparent and like be real. Like on your podcast, I just admitted like I used to do ecstasy back in the day, but it's like I know someone could relate to me, and it's like I don't mind sharing my past because it's like, what if I could help someone? And like no one's perfect. I know I was crazy back in the day, but that's not who I am now. Like I'm different now. That was me in the past, and I feel like the more transparent you are, and the more authentic you are, people are going to trust you more because they feel like they can relate to you rather than acting like, oh my God, like I only get a Tupperwares. I work out every day at 5 a.m. Like I have a perfect life. Like, no one has a perfect life. Like, let's be real. And that's
Yeah.
why I don't mind putting my boyfriend on blast on my Instagram saying like he got on my fucking nerves. Like I'm literally like done with him. He's up to here with me. Like I like to share that now. And Wes told me like, hey, if Los is being a dick to you, like put his ass on blast. I'm like, all right, like, because he's like, you need to like show your authentic self. Like you need to
Mhm.
show that like you're a human, like you have feelings, like you go through shit, and like everyone goes through shit. They just don't post about it. They only post the highs, like when things are good, and it's like that's not like being real. And it's like, why would someone want to sign up with you if you're always perfect? he even told me, he's like, you're too shredded. Like girls are probably intimidated by you and they don't want to sign up with you. So not that he was saying like, oh, like get more like, a little softer, but he's just like, hey, just know that like a lot of girls might be intimidated by you. That's why like they don't want to sign up with you just because it's like, he called me like shredded. I don't think I'm shredded, but I understand like his way of thinking now. Like I want to be like approachable. I don't want to act like my shit doesn't stink. I want to like be vulnerable and I want like women to feel comfortable to DM me and be like, hey Ariel, like thank you for sharing that. Or like, hey, damn, like when I put Los on blast the other day, like I got so many DMs, like, oh my God, girl, like I work with my husband too, or we both work from home. Like, thank you for sharing this. Cause like not everyone will literally act like share the truth about their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So that I got from Wes, just to be authentic, be transparent, because it's like the more authentic you are, people fuck with you more.
Yeah. So working on the vulnerability, working on the authenticity. Where would you say your biggest character deficit is?
Mm. Like, okay, so I do believe in myself, obviously. Like I feel like with Wes's program, him like believing in me made me want to believe in myself more. And it's sad that I needed someone to like actually believe in me. And like, he like posted me on his, I didn't ask him to do this. He like posted me on his Instagram, and like that right there shows me like, wow, like he actually does believe in me. Like he fucks with me. For him to like post me on his Instagram, he didn't have to do that. And like he like rarely has any girls that he posts, but he like straight up told me like, Ariel, like I know you could be making like 100,000 a month. You have it in you. It's just like you need to stop your vices and you need to believe in yourself, and you just need to be more authentic and be very transparent. Like he's like, your story should just be like a what's it called? Like a reality TV show. He's like, you need to post more, you need to talk more. Like people want to see you. Like you need to share your story. So he just made me like realize that like, on my Instagram more, don't just post client transformations or like, the normal stuff I always used to post. I'm trying to like step outside of the box and just be like, more real with like what I share.
Okay. So I guess you would say the deficit is self-confidence
Yes.
in the overall you, not what you portray.
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. Working on that transparency muscle. He's going to be happy if he listens to this. There you go. Squeezing that muscle. Exactly like he was saying. Talking
Yeah.
about ecstasy and your drinking and family alcoholism and putting Los on blast. Right.
Well, we don't hear, he don't listen to this.
Well, we'll
I'm
see.
sure he will.
We'll see. We'll see. I want to respect your time here. And so I just got one last question for you. And this is my curiosity from coach to coach. If anyone's listening to this and whether they work with you or they work with me or they work with Wes or they work with whoever, like who fucking cares, right? Just very curious from you as another coach. If someone's out there struggling, right, and can't seem to figure out the weight loss, can't seem to figure out how to believe in themselves, feels like they were in a similar position where things were just not going the right way for them, right? From body, mind, spirit. What would be the one piece of advice that you give to them, even if they were never a client?
Like if they just didn't like believe in themselves and like felt like they
They're just
couldn't.
they're in a very dark spot, like you were when you were abusing alcohol, when you were in a spot where you're 30 pounds up and you hated the life you were living and hated the person that you saw in the mirror. And these people were never, they could never take the full depth of your program. You just had to
Mhm.
give them a piece of advice in passing. What would that advice be?
I did a story about this, and it's gonna sound like super funny, but it's like, okay, out of like, I think it was, what was it, the out of the like 1,000 sperms, you made it. Like you're obviously here for a reason. Like, God, your higher power, whatever you believe in, like obviously wanted you here for a reason. And it's like, out of the 1,000 sperms, you made it. You're that one egg that made it. But it's true. It's like, dude, like you're here for a reason. Like you're obviously here like for a purpose. Like, and I feel like when people don't find what that purpose is and they just like, go through the motions of life, like it's sad. And it's like, I did a post about it yesterday. I was like, hey, like I could have easily, found a job with my degree. But then if I wouldn't have done that, I wouldn't have changed 500 women's lives that I've worked with in the
Mhm.
past. Like I wouldn't have made an impact. And it's like, imagine everyone who like follow their passion, their purpose. And, obviously, like nothing's easy. Like you're going to have to work hard at this. You're going to have to really, really believe in yourself. When other people doubt you, when other people tell you you're fucking crazy because you don't want to go to college or you don't want to use your degree, like my parents, like even to this day, my dad's like, oh, you should get a job with the city. I'm like, Dad, this is it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not working for someone else. Like, this is what I'm doing. He's like, well, what about your retirement? I was like, fuck my retirement. I'm going to make so much money. I don't need a retirement. Like, it's like my parents don't believe in me. So it's like, you're going to have all these people giving you their opinions. You just literally, you can't listen to other people's opinions and just fucking believe in yourself and just never give up and just stay consistent. Follow your purpose. And I promise, like, it's going to work out in the long run.
Here for that. Here for that. Before we let you go, where can the people find you? Where are you at on the socials? Where are you at in the ether? How can they get tapped in with you? What can they look forward to coming out from you or releasing soon? And how can they connect with you?
On the gram, they can follow me, Ariel, Ariel _ body by you, letter U. I am on TikTok too. I think it's the same.
You doing silly dances over there?
No, actually, it's just whatever I post on Instagram, I post on TikTok. I mean, I should be doing that. I do have YouTube too. I'm not really that like active on it. I do like YouTube shorts. It's I pretty much think just Ariel body by you. I'm not on Twitter. I am on Twitter, but I'm not active. I'm trying to be on all platforms, but it's like, yeah, it's too much. Instagram's like my main one, though. I feel like that's like my main. So, yes,
Okay.
find me on the gram.
Find you on the gram. And if they want to, if someone feels like they fit the demographic, they're a woman, they're looking to work with you, they're maybe not 40 to 50, but they're somewhere in there looking for some extra help. How can they get plugged in for a potential coaching opportunity?
Oh, yeah. On my bio, there's a link.
Okay.
They just have to fill it out, and then I reach out to them, and then we just jump on a quick call.
Heck yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to leave anyone with?
I'm not crazy, I promise. I'm sober. No, I'm just kidding. No, I just thank you for having me. Like, I appreciate it. And like the other podcasts I've been on, I've never been this transparent and like aired out everything. So yeah, like I feel good. And I hope that someone can relate to me and know that like, hey, just because like you're in a dark place, just because you only rely on alcohol like to get you through the day, it doesn't mean that like this is just like your season of life and it is gonna get better. It's just this is your season, like temporarily, unfortunately, but things are going to get better. I pinky promise.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, we'll cut the recording there. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to do this. And hold on 2 seconds. I'm going to stop the recording.
Okay.